and welcome to OpportYOUnity. I am Miko, and this video is the introduction for breathing exercises. Before I get started with this video, I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that this injury was self-induced, as I had too much energy yesterday and I ran into the cupboard door. But because I know how important this topic is, I wanted to make it as soon as possible and decided to come in front of the camera anyways. The first time I really got in contact with breathing exercises was when I was doing yoga. Yoga is not only positions like putting your legs behind your head, but actually it's a way of life. There is a famous author in India which is called Patanjali, and he basically was the first one to really write down what that path entails. One of the pillars that is super important in yoga is breathing exercises called pranayama. In yoga, it is therefore believed that every time you breathe in, you inhale energy. Every time you hold your breath, you let this energy really be soaked up by your body. And every time you exhale, you release all the waste products of your body. Even from a biological perspective, that actually makes quite a bit of sense. Pretty much every cell in our body needs oxygen to function. And a lot of the processes that happen when we digest food or when we use our muscles, we also need a lot of oxygen. How many times do you really take deep breaths during your day? Is it when you're doing exercises or when you're stressed at work? Back in the day, when we were still hunting and gathering, we were actually breathing much deeper. We had to go run after the animals to chase them down and eat, and we were outside most of the time. So now that everything is more freely available at supermarkets and that we can use the luxury of a car or things like that, we have also reduced the intensity of our breathing. Have you ever thought about why smokers often say that they need a cigarette to calm down? The act of inhaling so deeply is actually what is calming them down. Which brings us to the next point, which is stress. What happens to your breath when you're stressed? What happens to your breath when you're panicking? Your breath becomes much more shallow and quick. But what happens when you're calm and relaxed? Your breath becomes deeper and slower. So does your heart rate. And that is actually why breathing is so important. We can't control our heartbeat, but breathing is something that we can control. The fact that we can also not live without it for very long shows how important it is to us. Adding breathing exercises to your day is really going to benefit you in the long run. If you're a very emotional person, or if you get stressed easily, or even if you just get stressed a lot at work. If you regularly practice your breathing exercises in the morning when you're calm, you're going to be able to use these techniques when you're in a stressful situation. This means that our breath has a direct connection to our emotions and vice versa. When our emotions are fluctuating, our breath is also not very stable. But if we stabilize our breath, we are able to stabilize our emotions. There are so many breathing exercises out there that can really benefit people with different conditions, which is why I made a playlist with different breathing exercises. Each video is going to show one breathing exercise with a short intro at the beginning and a guided exercise at the end. To get into this habit, it might be best to start off small. Even if it's just 2 minutes a day, it's better than not doing it at all. And the best thing about breathing exercises is that a lot of them, you can really do them anywhere. If you're waiting for an email at work, or if you're waiting for the coffee to brew in the morning. Me personally, I like to add it to my morning routine. So I do approximately 20 to 30 minutes of breathing and meditation exercises in the morning. At the beginning, you might get very distracted with your thoughts. A lot of things are going to pop into your mind, or you're going to feel like you're not doing it right. But keep practicing. And you're going to notice that these thoughts are going to get less and less, and that you're able to really focus on the inhales and the exhales. And by doing that, you're going to be able to calm your mind and your emotions. The only thing I ask you is that you bring consistency into all of this. So even if it's just 2 minutes, do them every day for at least 1 month. And after that, only then see if you feel a difference and decide if it's something for you or not. The fun thing about practicing something regularly every day is that you're going to notice it's not the same. It's always different. Your thoughts are different, your distractions are different. Sometimes you're more concentrated, other times you're less concentrated. Sometimes you really want to do them, other times you don't. This is not like a sleeping pill where you're going to see the effects immediately, but you are going to see the results if you practice regularly. And everyone in your surrounding is also going to thank you for that if you're going to be more calm and easygoing. life is just going to be much more fun. The moment you're going to start realizing when your thoughts are slowly moving away is probably going to be in between your breaths. That is the magic spot where you feel the space, where you feel the void and the freedom. And this space is going to get longer and longer throughout the time you practice. Not necessarily because you hold your breath more, but you're going to feel more comfortable and you're going to feel more at home in this space. That being said, there are going to be very different techniques of how to breathe. Even one breathing technique is going to have different ways of approaching it. So not just the hand positions might be different, but also the way you inhale and exhale into your body and how long you inhale and exhale, or even hold your breath. I'm going to mark the videos with different degrees of difficulty. Some are for beginners, some for intermediate, and some for advanced. And just see what you feel more comfortable with. If you've never done that breathing exercise before, start with the beginning and then work your way up. Nearly every breathing exercise should be practiced sitting down, either on a chair or on the floor. If there's really no other way, then practice them lying down. But the danger with that is sometimes you might be falling asleep. And we're really trying to focus on our breath and not make us fall asleep. Or if you're just waiting for that cup of coffee I was talking about, then you can also practice it standing up. But preferably really try to sit on a chair or on the floor. The biggest rule with breathing exercises though is that your back is straight. At the beginning this might be a bit challenging and it might start to hurt a bit here and there. So that's why when it's getting too painful, finish the round on your exhale and stop the breathing exercise. Bringing this focus to your breath is also going to get you started with mindfulness practice. So to really be present in the moment and to really focus on what you're doing, not to be distracted by the future or the past or any other thoughts that are coming into your mind. So yeah, now that you know the absolute basics for breathing exercises, let's get started. Let's get right to it. Choose your exercise that you want to get started with. As I said, set yourself the limit of at least 30 days and only after that make a decision. Start small so that you don't get overwhelmed with all of this or lose interest really quickly. It's better to start off with a small amount of time and increase it instead of starting off with 10 minutes a day and then telling yourself, well, this is nothing for me anyways. Let's do this!